Hello everyone and welcome back to the Chassis Variant series, myself Critical Rocket. As part of the Glorious Domination series we're on with the Bllod Asp, and this is the B configuration. The Bllod Asp Bravo is primarily configured from the offset as a fire support model. This means it comes with a fair amount of long-range weaponry backed up by some nice medium to short-range weaponry in case things get too close. It's also equipped with ECM. This model has a Gauss rifle and two LRM-20s that by default come with Artemis fire support, fire control, sorry. And the energy weaponry that back it up is quad medium pulse lasers, which means it can do a lot of damage at all ranges essentially. Probably one of its initial downsides is that ammunition is a little bit of a problem, especially with LRM-20s and Gauss rifles, not leaving a lot of room for ammo to go in. So the design probably could use a few tweaks if you're going into the bat and deciding to customize it. Hardpoint wise, it's pretty much exactly what the weapons layout are. You have 4 energy, 1 ballistic and 2 missile. So compared to the A variant, it's got a bit more flexibility in what kind of builds you want to run, with the added benefit that it still mounts ECM. The important thing to note about the Bllod Asp is that, like a lot of clan mechs that do carry ECM, a majority of them carry ECM in a side torso, which generally allows you to swap and change those as you see fit onto other variants of the same mech, whereas the problem with center-mounted ECM obviously is you need to buy the mech to use it. So you can't just swap out the Bravo and say put it on the Delta or the Hero mech. So one of the probably the smaller drawbacks of buying the A or B is, yes, they come with ECM, but you're going to be stuck with whatever hardpoints you have, and that's about it. That said, it still has the exact same engine rating, and weirdly enough, when I was looking at this on the website Smurfy, which is what I used to have a quick look at hardpoint stuff just to refresh, it actually states it doesn't have jump jets on the Alpha variant, which it clearly does, because you jump around with them. And even the write-up for the Alpha mentions it has jump jets. So the Bravo, if I remember correctly, does not have jump jets. But this is going from footage I recorded a while back, and I haven't really taken the Bravo out that much in the past. It's not to say it's a bad mech by any stretch. The Bravo is a lot of fun compared to, say, the Charlie version, which is very, very specific in its loadout, and it's going to be for players who I think like Kodiaks. But the Bravo, I think, is a bit more jack of all trades. I think people are going to prefer this one over the other configurations because of the hardpoint numbers are a little more generous by comparison. If I remember correctly, outside of the Prime, this is the only other version that actually has mountings for all 3 weapon types. So it's the only one that is going to allow you to carry missiles, ballistic and energy hardpoints to begin with. The upside is this one is that the arm-mounted missile hardpoints do actually have 20 tubes, so you won't be firing in weird missile numbers when you do fire them if you do have drop it to. I mean, like, some have 10 tubes and others have 15 tubes, and if you go to 20 you fire and then fire another 5, that kind of thing. And this one does actually come with 2 20 stock tubes. The ballistic is right torso mounted, which means it's a high mount, which is very good, and all of your energy is in your left torso. So arguably your most important side of your mech is your left side, so protect that at all costs, especially if it does turn into a brawl. That is the side that you're going to want to keep as heavily guarded as possible. Again, this is much like the Alpha version. It is a version that works best when it's in conjunction with other mechs. As a one-on-one fighter, it can certainly hold its own, it can certainly do a lot of damage, but again, it does risk overheat quite a lot. Especially firing the 4 pulses, and if you've been closing in on a target with the LRM-20s as well, your heat is still going to start to spike. It doesn't have a lot of spare heat sinks to try and control the pulse lasers, so you are going to end up in a situation where eventually you are going to start hitting that red line. Unless you're on a map like this, Frozen City, which is obviously a cold map, but even Clan Tech eventually starts to overheat very quickly with repeated fire. Yeah, a couple of points on the background of the Kingfisher, of the Bllod Asp. Bring up the Kingfisher for a reason. The mech is supposedly based on the Kingfisher, and I don't know if this was just an unusual retcon decision by the writers at some point, because the Bllod Asp was primarily used in, I believe it was Mech Assault 2. I never got to play that game because it was on Xbox, never owned an Xbox. But I know a lot of people associate with this mech because of that game. But there is virtually no part of this mech physically, even in the original art, that actually looks like the Kingfisher Omni-Mech. It's an odd thing to say that it was based on such. You know, it's like saying that the Hellbringer is clearly based on the Warhammer. I mean, the write-up says that they used Warhammer manufacturing industry to basically retcon bits of that mech, or not retcon, but take the legs and stuff on that mech and basically redesign the Warhammer as a new type of mech. And that's why the Hellbringer has a lot of similar physical features to the Warhammer. This mech does not have any of that. And outside of... No, I mean, it's not even... Like, Kingfisher's a bird and the Bllod Asp is a fucking snake. I don't know why the Kingfisher and this mech apparently have such a strong relationship, but there it is in the write-up. I don't know why they did that. I'm sure there must have been other mechs that might have had a better base grounding for it. I mean, even saying based on the Timberwolf might have made more sense. I don't know. Being it's a chicken walker. Again, the Kingfisher isn't a chicken walker mech. It's a sort of humanoid design. In fact, if they bring in the Kingfisher, that would be sweet because it looks cool. It's a really cool looking early Clan Omni. Check it out on the Sana page. It's very nice mech. But yeah, it's a strange one. The other thing is that it was supposed to be one of the first mechs that debuted with heavy laser technology, which is fine. Again, I don't see what the link with the Kingfisher is there, but whatever. But outside of that, would I recommend the Bravo? Yes, purely from a customization standpoint. As if you want another mech that has a lot of flexibility in what it can do, this is a good choice. Otherwise, you're probably going to be just as happy with the Prime. If you've got a build that works on the Prime, you probably don't need the Bravo version unless you specifically want arm-mounted missile hardpoints, or you want a side torso that's got like 4 energy. If you want to make one that's got a crap ton of energy hardpoints, the left torso on this thing is pretty good for that. Otherwise, it's not an important mech to pick up, to be honest, out of the whole lineup. And I think as far as its default build goes, if you want a fire support mech with missiles, you've got the Nightgear D, you know, you don't need to go much further than that for a nice heavy fire support platform. So, but this was the end of that round, so thank you everyone for watching. I hope you have a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye!